everybody, welcome back to Game Over Cancer Fall 2021. Hope you enjoyed the two Metroid Fusion runs that we had just now. noxiousnnick is back with Zero Mission, our final game for this Metroid block, but don't worry, it's not the last of Metroid we'll be seeing this marathon, as we will be having a Metroid Dread, any percent run by the man himself, Strider86, as the closing run. But right now it's time for Zero Mission with noxiousnnick. And before we get into this run, I want to make a quick reference to the ongoing incentive that we have for Donkey Kong Country 3, which is coming up very soon. For the where we have a bid war for the color. Original is currently sitting at $28.43. But alternate is now in the lead with $30. So it's less than the $2 difference. It's very close. Any donation could sway that. So if you want to have your impact on that, get your donations in. And with that, we're going to throw it back over to noxiousnnick for Metroid Zero Mission 100%.
Alright, I guess I'll do like last time. I'll go and do the countdown, get started, and it's still me and Ross on commentary, so I'll let Ross introduce the game as I'm getting started. So I'll go on 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, well, this is Metroid Zero Mission. This is the remake to the original Metroid with later and greater technology than the game than NES. As you can see here, there is also it's also kind of has a story elements. As you see in the very beginning, Samus says something like, "Oh, this is my very first mission, my Zero Mission," or something like that. And the game actually tries its best to maintain the original feel of the original Metroid, with rooms looking very similar.
I always thought Samus was just introducing the game by saying, "This is my Zero Mission." Metroid Zero Mission for the Game Boy Advance, but shortened.
You gotta have the name of the game in the dialogue, right? That's just how it works. In movies and in songs, it's all the same. You gotta include it. So the game starts off as any category would, going straight for the missiles.
Since I'm playing both of them back to back and I get to compare Fusion to Zero Mission, I always like to point out that Zero Mission is my favorite Game Boy game because it's very snappy. All the movement just kind of clicks together and it's very fluid. Fusion has some clunkiness to it. I think is their first Game Boy game, but you'll see Samus be a lot more fluid and agile in this game, moving around.
Yeah, you can already tell the difference in just how Samus moves and everything. But fun fact that the game is actually derived from the same engine as Fusion. So it kind of sometimes feels like Fusion, but most of the time it doesn't. It's weird. It's weird. But yeah, so Nick picked up the first major, which is the missile, and is heading towards the, actually not the first major, second major missile. Morph Ball was right there, and now he's going to pick up the bombs.
Hopefully we'll have a clean hive room today. The hive room is still random, even if you go through it the same way every time.
Yeah, these bugs that come out of the hive spawn infinitely as long as the hives are there. And they like to follow you kind of in a particular way that you can actually manipulate them into all being grouped up and following you from behind, and Nick did that very well.
They usually follow you, but every once in a while you get a straggler that hangs up by the ceiling, and when you come back through for the second pass, they'll knock you back down, and cost you quite a bit of time if you're not going to reset over it in the marathon run. But usually if you're going for PB attempts, that just kills the run right away, getting knocked down in the hive room.
Yeah. I don't know if this is true, but I think this is the first time a red door or missile door is not has only one hit with a missile and not like 3 or 5 like other games.
In the Game Boy games.
It's very, very convenient. I know NES is 5 missiles. I know Super is 5 missiles. So I think this might be the first time a red door is opened with 1 missile. I don't know about M2.
In Fusion, all the red doors are opened all at once with a dialogue box.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I got the first set of bomb jumps there. I do a different... There's 2 different routes you could do at the start of the game. One of them involves getting bombs and going straight to Kraid. And I do early Brinstar, which is where you bomb jump up to the top of Brinstar and clear out the majority of it before leaving the first time. And there's a couple tricky bomb jumps to make it happen. I got the first one pretty easy. There's 2 more coming up.
Yeah, and the early Brinstar route kind of helps you when you enter the crate area, because you'll have more ammo and not have to worry about lacking ammo when you fight Kraid. So, it's not necessarily for Kraid, but for the side hoppers and the acid worm that you have to fight in Kraid.
And another little optimization, for every bomb jump I do, you can actually jump and place a bomb higher in the air and then jump back into it to get your first bomb jump, and they're called jump bomb jumps. And every one that I can pull off first try saves about a second over having to just start from the ground. So you'll often see me starting a bomb jump chain by jumping into the first bomb just to save that extra second wherever I can.
We talked about how Metroid Fusion's bombs and bomb jumping is the worst. I think personally that Metroid Zero Mission's bombs and bomb jumping is the best. It's very fast, you know, and very lenient.
Oops.
And you can do all kinds of cool tricks with the bomb jump. And horizontal, you can do a chain of horizontal bomb jumps. I know that SM can't do that.
Ooh, I don't know how it's done, but I think you can. I can't remember what category I've seen it in, but I've seen Zenny pull off horizontal bomb jumps in a Super before. It's kind of crazy, actually.
I think that involves the ceiling. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't want to get too much into Super Metroid during the Zero Mission run, but...
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, the bomb jump in Zero Mission is very versatile, and you'll see Nick pull off a bunch of really cool bomb jump tricks.
And I don't play with the randomizer too much, but I have gotten from the randomizer players of this game that they like to hide bombs later in the game when possible, because in a randomizer setting, as soon as you find bombs, you unlock a good majority of the items, and it becomes less of a like a routing decision of what you can and can't do, because you can do a lot with bombs in this game.
Yeah, as a randomizer runner, I still prefer bombs being early. it saves you from potentially soft locking in other places.
That too. Well, we got Brinstar more or less cleared up. There's a couple items we'll be getting later, but now that I've done the early Brinstar route, I have a good bit of stuff and we get to go into Kraid.
Great music is the best.
And the game so far is more or less a good recreation of the NES Metroid, but here in Kraid we'll find there's an extra boss that wasn't in the NES that they added for some flavor. there's a rail system up on the top of Kraid that lets you... Oops. Hang on. That's what I get for trying to talk while timing bombs. But there's a rail system that carries you over some pits of acid in this game, and you have to activate it in this room. And once it's active, you're locked in this room, and the only way out is by fighting a boss. So in any percent runs, you'll see what's called the acid worm skip, to either do a precise bomb jump or a chain of horizontal bomb jumps to skip the rail system. But there's a couple items underneath the worm, so we have to kill it anyways. So that's one less hassle.
Yep. And I personally think that the acid worm is the main deciding factor as to whether or not a runner wants to do early Brinstar or late Brinstar, or the reason why that's even a choice to begin with.
Yeah, that's actually why I switched. I used to do late Brinstar because it's an easier route. You don't have to deal with the bomb jumps. But with the fewer missiles that you have at the start of the game, you have to stop and farm along the way in order to have enough to kill the acid worm, because he takes 30 to kill. And you could have up to 40, but you usually have less than 30 if you're not slowing down. And then immediately after the acid worm, there's 2 side hoppers I have to kill to unlock a door for another missile, and they take 10 missiles each. So after firing 30 at the acid worm, you need 20 more. So for that reason,
unfortunately, yeah, you have the ammo that you need because of early Brinstar.
yeah. So the trade-off is it's harder to get started, but then the route is it's smooth sailing from there versus just being easier overall. But you got to get a little lucky to go fast.
We see the diagonal bomb jump.
Here's the 2 side hoppers that I have to kill. There's a door leaving this room that's locked until they're both dead, so I can't just damage boost into them or run past them.
I thought you should, because they also hit very hard.
That's true. We're not going to get everything in Kraid on the first pass, and the main reason is there's one item that we actually can't get until we come back with a fully powered suit later. So since we're coming back anyways, there's a few other items we're going to leave behind just because they're faster to get along the way. But we're going to get most of Kraid. Alright, the cool strat there.
Yeah, Kraid is relatively small compared to the other areas in terms of just its, I don't know, map size as well as items. So it's pretty quick and easy. Very nice. Oh, I thought you had it. Nick was going for the refill glitch there, where if you put Samus in the hands of the Chozo as you pick up the item, you actually start your refill during the item pickup cutscene.
You have a couple frames for when you open the item where you can see it, but it doesn't really exist immediately. So if you time your bomb jump just right, you can get into the hand before it exists, and the timing works out from there.
And depending on the route that Nick will do here, I think we'll see it again. So he has another shot. Very nice Kraid fight, 2 cycle. Kraid has always been a pushover. Someday, Kraid will be an actual boss.
I won't talk about it because I don't want to get into spoilers, but there was a mandatory refill. The reason I went for the glitch at all was even with early Brinstar, and you sink 30 missiles into the worm and 20 missiles into the side hoppers and a few more for blocks, you're usually out by then. So just for the sake of killing Kraid and having missiles for later, it's faster to get the refill over with there and carry on with all your missiles back.
Yep. Oh, we're done with Kraid for now. We'll be back later.
Hopefully not too much later. Yeah, we actually, so in Fusion, we're able to grab ledges as soon as the game starts, but in this game, the power grip is its own ability, and I think this is the only game where it is an ability. So
I think so, yeah.
So we'll be able to grab ledges once we pick that power up.
And I think there is a detail into why power grip exists, and it's because something about Samus's suit being too heavy for Samus to carry with, or to just grab onto ledges with her own bare hands, that she needs power grip to actually grip ledges and not, be tired.
I can understand that, because in Fusion, I don't think she has her suit for most of Fusion.
Right, she's in a hybrid Metroid slash kind of stripped down power suit.
Oops.
And then you'll see later on in the game when Samus is in her Zero suit, since she's not wearing a suit, she's able to grip things freely, despite not actually having it.
There's a neat little shine spark you can do in this room. It's really tight to store it, and it should be easy to keep it, but I blew it right at the end. But after you blow up the bomb blocks, you can save a few seconds and spark over this gap that I had to platform over.
Now we've entered Norfair. Fortunately, power grip is pretty early in the game, and we're on our way to pick it up right now. That'll make movement a lot easier in the game. And also, it's mandatory. You can't skip power grip.
Oh yeah, there is a low percent category for this game that skips a good chunk of items, but you can't skip power grip. For a weird reason too.
Yep, the game will not let you progress past a certain part in Norfair until you get power grip.
Yeah, I want to say that it sounds like they wanted to force you to get Plasma Beam, because Plasma is on the way to Power Grip, and once you get Plasma, you have to get Power Grip to finish leaving.
Yep.
Because that makes more sense to require Plasma Beam, but in a weird way, they actually required Power Grip. I'm actually going to get early supers here, too, while I'm here.
Yep. Very nice Shine Spark tricks. Zero Mission is known for a lot of really cool Speed Booster and Shine Spark tech.
I think the game wants you to get your first pack of super missiles as you're entering Ridley, and you're going to fight a boss where your reward is the first super missiles. But by getting them early, we can open a few doors early and get some other items on the way to Ridley, and it saves quite a bit of time. Although Zero Mission seems to be designed from the ground up to be sequence broken just at its core. The fact that it's possible to get early supers is a real nice addition. Even though it requires a Shine Spark trick to get them here, in any percent you can still skip that boss that rewards you with supers and just get a pack that's kind of hard to get to, but not too hard. And the game still gives them to you.
Yeah, I think the developers intended for you to be able to get that super missile early because of the incline that it has on the left side. They could have otherwise just not have put it there. Oh.
It's another
Nick was going for the very hard Shine Spark trick here.
it's another tight one to get, but it looks cool and it just saves a couple seconds if you can pull it off, which there's quite a few of those in this route. That one is called the Ice Cream Spark because if you get the spark, you spark into the ice beam. Here's one of the first heated room runs. Oh, I never mentioned Variasuit at the beginning of the game. Ouch. We did get close to Variasuit by doing early Brinstar, but there's really no reason to get it. We go through a couple heated rooms that are pretty short and not too dangerous as long as you have enough health. And at the end of the game, when you get the gravity suit, the game just gives you Varia along with gravity, and you still get 100% of the items. So we're not actually going to see the Varia suit in this run.
Yeah, like Nick said, there really isn't any good reason to get Variasuit in 100%. As we go through these heated rooms, there aren't that many, and they're pretty short. And you also have many refill opportunities in case you are feeling like you don't have much health.
Yeah, if I was going for PB attempts, I would try and skip all the refills, and you usually have just enough health to do it. But I fell in the previous heated room and took some extra damage, and that actually would make the difference between dying or not, so... Even if I hadn't fallen, I would take the refill for a marathon safety. Because the one missed jump or bonking one enemy in a heated room usually kills the run.
And we take a hidden path into the back end of Norfair.
There we go. That bomb jump is a little scary too. If you're planning on skipping the heal and you're low on health, and you start missing that bomb jump, and just watching your health go away.
Yeah, it gets tense, especially in a race. There it is, refill glitch.
Luckily, once you get high jump, there's a spring ball setup that makes the refill glitch almost free. It's a little bit of timing, but anyone can do it with spring jump with a couple extra tries. And now that I have screw attack, it's not quite as strong as fusion screw attack, but it is strong enough to kill just about anything in my way now. So we're pretty good as far as damage and enemies are concerned. Oops. There he is. He got frozen in the hidden path there. So this room is the reason why I took the refill at Screw Attack. With about 150 health, you can just barely make it in and out of this room. So you usually want to have at least 200 or more. Just oh, see, I fell in the lava there. That would have killed me if I hadn't refilled. But with less mistakes than I'm having, it is possible to get through all of this without healing once. Here's where we'll find the wave beam. So I think a good chunk of the major items in this game are hidden in Norfair. I think the game intends for you to come back at many different times and pick up one at a time and go explore and come back. But if you know where the shortcuts and the hidden paths are, you can just get them all in the first pass.
And now we're coming up on our second mini boss. If this is a mini boss. I really like this fight from a casual player perspective. It's kind of like a puzzle. How do I kill this thing? Well, it looks like the underbelly is the vulnerable part, but how do you actually hit it if it's on the ground like that? And then you realize that, you know, the bombs can actually hit it. So I've seen people like take a long time to figure it out, and it's really interesting to me. And just like Fusion, you see some evolutionary stages of certain enemies in this game. This cocoon is actually what the larva used to be.
And that's the first pass at Norfair. I think Norfair is probably the area we revisit the most. We gotta go through it again to go to Torian, and then we'll be coming back and cleaning up a good bit of Norfair afterwards. I think for a 100% run, Ridley is really where the tricks and movement really make or break the run. There's a lot of puzzles that are costly if you fail them, if you don't get them the first try, and they have even harder ways to try and beat them slightly faster and risk more time lost. But that was a boss fight, I guess. A lot of the boss fights in Zero Mission are actually really underwhelming. They mostly involve just shooting a bunch of missiles and the boss is already dead. From a casual perspective, it's probably fun because the bosses are puzzles, like where do I shoot the missiles and when is he vulnerable? How do I, like those kinds of questions are tough. But for the speedrun, when you already know all the patterns, a lot of the bosses just die as soon as you see them.
Yeah, and after killing that bee, Nick picked up the intended first super missiles. And here we're going to see a minor glitch. Nick is going to clip through the floor here. It saves from having to do some room transitions to get a speed booster in.
Yeah, this game, for a speed game, is actually pretty solid. There isn't a lot of game-breaking bugs or glitches or memory corruption, but once you get the ice beam, there's a couple weird things that can happen with the ice beam that lets you skip some sections and speed up some sections. But besides the ice beam, the majority of this game is just as the developers intended. Any shortcuts and hidden paths were placed there by the developers, and the game is purely movement based and ammo management. Here's another room. I have to get the Shine Spark up here. It's the only place I can really get it. and keep it for a few rooms, so if I mess up this next part I have to go all the way back and it's pretty costly for time. It doesn't stop me from going for a little optimization there where there's a couple frames to spark into the ceiling and not have to backtrack after getting the spark.
Very nice puzzle room. The next puzzle room is actually, there's only one way to do it, and it's the developer intended way, and it's very hard to do. And it requires jumping within a 4-frame window or something like that.
Yeah,
And
that jump, you have 4 frames, or if you're too early or too late, you either bonk the little hill there or the wall, or you bonk something and you just don't break all the speed blocks, and you have to leave the room and come back to try again. And the doors in this game are very slow, so every time you leave a room, that's 5 or 6 seconds of time loss. Just on the door alone, not even including having to leave to get the spark you're getting. I guess I should mention we're actually going to full clear Ridley on our first visit here. Fortunately, there's no power bombs in Ridley because that's the only thing that we wouldn't be able to get. A lot of the power bombs in this game are just hidden behind power bomb blocks. And since there's none of that in Ridley, we're able to pick everything up and we don't have to come back at the end of the game.
Yep, which is a good thing because it Ridley is so far out of the way. Once you leave Ridley, you'd have to go through, I think the Amaga room is the only way in, right?
Yeah, the boss is already dead, but the elevator's still there, and you have to go all the way back to the dead boss to get down here.
Yep, so fortunately we cleared everything out here on the first pass.
Now we're coming up on Ridley again, who's almost as loud as Fusion, but not quite as loud. But like most of the bosses in Zero Mission, he's basically a glorified ammo dump. Get rid of all the missiles you have and he's already gone. I always liked how the strategy in any percent is even with one E-tank, you just stand inside his hitbox and fire all your missiles and you can kill him before he kills you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little slower on any percent because you don't have 10 missiles, 10 super missiles. You fight really with just 4, but you're still able to kill him before he kills you.
Wow,
that's a lot of supers.
Yeah, you want to get a lot of supers from Ridley, and it's random how many he drops. And with the route I'm doing, I wanted at least 6, but I only got 4, so I wanted to stop there and farm some more. But if you get lucky and get ammo from Ridley, you get to just run through that room without slowing down.
And that should be the last item in Ridley.
Come on, Samus. That room's just a wonky shape to me. I always kind of fumble the exit sometimes. Yeah, now that both bosses are dead and most of the items are picked up, it's time to go beat Mother Brain and finish the game. Well, I guess I have been talking about cleanup. I guess I can't I can't do that joke about how Mother Brain's the end of the game because I didn't pick everything up yet.
Well, you still can clean up after Mother Brain.
I mean, a lot of times, for Zero Mission being a remake of old Nestroid, and Nestroid ends when you kill Mother Brain and the game is over, but Zero Mission looks like it's the end of the game, and then it pulls the, oh no, you've been shot down, you're still going. So some people like to joke and say, I finished, that's time, but not really. Which is fine for any percent if you just want to beat the game, but I've been talking about coming back and cleaning up items.
Should be a kill Mother Brain and escape category. Why haven't we thought about this?
I think that'd just be the first half of an any percent run.
Well, yeah. Alright, since we've already cleaned up Upper Brinstar early on, Nick does not have to go back there and clean it up.
Yeah, this is the point where the routes would converge. If I hadn't done those bomb jumps right at the beginning of the game, I'd come back with all these power-ups and all this movement ability, and I would just fly to the top of the room and pick them all up now. And it's not really any faster or slower, it's just more convenient to do it sooner. But the convenience comes at a little difficulty curve. Alright, I still got a 35 Torian time. That's pretty good for this run.
Yep. And we get our first look at the Metroids here. Turian is actually really difficult in any percent. But fortunately, we have all this health and ammo. We don't have to worry much about it in 100%. I believe Nick's strategy here is to use up his supers until he's down to 4, and then use up missiles afterwards.
Yeah, 1 super immediately kills a Metroid, or 5 missiles takes a little longer to fire the missiles, but will also kill a Metroid. So you want to use supers if you can, but if you run out of supers, then you're going to have a real slow Mother Brain fight. So you want to try and reserve some if you're not getting good drops from the Metroids. And it looks like
Fortunately, Nick's getting a lot of supers.
yeah, I'm getting good drops, so this is a good Torian so far.
Yeah.
And every run is random and lucky, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was getting ready to switch to missiles because I thought I was out, or, well, I was down to 4, which is the minimum. But I got what we call double supers. Oh. One extra one there, but now I'm past the point where I don't need it, so I would waste more time going to get that one than I would save by getting it. Oh my gosh.
Reminds me of a Toho game.
There we go.
So Mother Brain is she closes her eye after taking a certain amount of damage, which is 100. So what Nick did here is to hit Mother Brain 4 times with a missile for 80 damage, and then to kind of hit her over her threshold with a super for an additional 50, or actually 100. So Nick is doing 180 damage to Mother Brain per cycle, which will obviously shorten the amount of times that she'll close her eye, and therefore make the fight a lot faster. Yeah, and if you saw there, Nick was running into Mother Brain to start a speed booster. It's kind of weird how that happens. That also happens to Kraid if you had a speed booster. After killing him, you just keep running into him. I don't know why that happens. Maybe there isn't a wall there, and Samus. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I heard the reason is it's not a physical wall, but the game is actually resetting your position. So you're running forward and the game is constantly placing you backwards, trying to stop you from going too fast. So the end result is it thinks you've been running the whole time.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Here's another fun part of the run. If I was going for a PB attempt, there's an optional heal at the start of this section, which you normally would skip the heal, and that means anything in the section would one-shot kill you. But if you're good enough, you can get through quickly without touching anything. But that's not very safe for a marathon, so I will be taking the heal. But if you're watching Zero Mission speedruns, that's always a tense part of the run. In any category, you have to go through here. Except in low percent, the heal doesn't do anything because you don't have any health anyways.
And now that Samus is armed with a pistol, you can see the energy meter of the pistol there. When it's blinking, it's a full charged pistol shot that can stun a pirate. If it's not blinking, it will not do any damage or stun the pirate, and the pirate will still come after you. So Nick is going to be managing that charge to make sure that he stuns the pirates that he needs to stun.
Oops. So luckily, even though I took the safety heal, there are no strategies where damage boosting is any faster. So hopefully, if I do this right, I shouldn't take any damage throughout all of Suitless anyways, just to show off. There's the team kill strategy where you turn off the alarm by having the pirates shoot each other, but in order to set that up, you have to get right in his face to make him want to shoot.
Yeah, I think it's funny that pirates are able to kill each other. It adds to the comedy element of... I mean, space pirates are just funny in general.
I mean, they do run around like chickens without heads. And watching them shoot each other in the process is always funny. I guess on that topic too, there's actually no randomness to the space pirates. They all start in the same place and they all move the same way. And as long as you move the same way, whoops, they'll react to you in the same way. So the good thing about Suitless is even though it's dangerous, it's also the most consistent part of the run.
Yep.
So the better you get at it, it's also the most boring part of the run unless you make a mistake.
Yeah, it's also the only part of the run that is consistent throughout all categories. Nothing changes at all, whether you're doing any percent, low percent, or 100%. So with that in mind, if you're really good at the Suitless section, then you have a leg up on every other category that you're going to learn.
And if you're learning multiple categories, if you've already mastered any percent and you want to move on to 100%, it's just one less thing to worry about because you've already done it.
Yep. Yeah, there are some places where you want to avoid being detected, and then there are some places like this where you should get detected because it's faster.
Well, I successfully got Sam skip in this run. I don't know if you want to go into the whole history of Sam skip.
Yeah, the
It's quite the lesson.
Sam skip or Sam strat involves moving in that crumble crawl space in such a way that the alarm will deactivate due to time, but also when you fall through, make it so that the pirate that Nick shot at is facing away from you and not detecting you again. And it saves you 1 second or more, and it also saves you from having to make an extra room transition to deactivate the alarm. Sam, the digital, who's the developer of this strat, I think he accidentally got it and realized that he could actually make it so that it's not an accident and make it a consistent strat. And once he did, it was then named the Sam strat. Yeah, and that all goes back to what Nick said earlier, in that every aspect of the pirates and how they move is predictable and can be manipulated and controlled in a way that they will always do the same thing if you do everything right.
And I managed to get through without taking damage, which... Actually, there is one damage boost strategy on the boss fight. If you're doing this on a PB attempt, you won't have any health to damage boost with. But if you shoot yourself, the boss holds up a mirror where you end up shooting yourself, and you want to wait to shoot it when it glows to do damage. And it's random how long it takes to glow. But if you shoot yourself on purpose, it's potentially... It's still random, but it could speed up the fight. So when you have the health, you may as well spend the fight shooting yourself.
Yep, and this is all on average. So what happens here is that the boss determines when it's going to open up its vulnerability state. However, shooting at the boss can reset that time and make it choose an earlier time to do so. So Nick is opting to shoot at the boss here.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's something like, by default, it waits like 5 to 15 seconds or something. And when you shoot yourself, it resets to like 5 to 10 seconds or something smaller.
Yeah.
So it's still average, you could still waste time, but you're more likely to gain time.
And with that, Samus has now reacquired her power suit and everything else, including the unknown items that we picked up earlier, which happens to be the plasma beam, the gravity suit, and the space jump. And we are now in cleanup phase.
Oh, I guess you do get to see Various suit for a second here. She puts it on just long enough to paint it purple. And this is where the speedrun really kicks into high gear. For anyone that's done 100% casually and fought with the speed booster puzzles and tried them for hours and hours, this is where I hopefully get them all first try.
Ooh.
Oh, I almost jinxed it. Okay. So that's probably one of the tougher ones. I was a little scared, but we made it.
Yep, you can have a very, very good 100% start and then totally mess this up and just ruin your PP attempt.
It's like 30 seconds down the drain to fail it at the end there.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I didn't want to demonstrate grabbing screw attack blocks, but I guess I got to show it off. If you're holding a direction while you're screw attacking screw blocks, there's a frame perfect chance that you'll just grab the block instead of breaking it. Usually by now I've learned not to hold a direction, but sometimes I want to go and it happens.
Yeah, Zero Mission and Fusion, spin jumping or space jumping operates in a way that once you spin jump, in a direction, Samus will continue to move in that direction, regardless of whether or not you're holding left or right. So if you're doing continuous space jumps to the right, all you'd have to do is just tap A after doing your first jump, and Samus will always go right. And like Nick said, if you're not holding a direction, there's no chance for you to accidentally grab anything, because ledge grabbing requires that you hold the direction near the ledge.
Yeah, the notorious one is actually in Norfair. Right after you pick up Screw Attack, there's a missile that's just surrounded by Screw Attack blocks. And that used to get me the most when I was learning this game, because I'm used to holding right because I want to go right, but then you grab all the blocks.
Yep, and we'll see another example of that later when Nick does the Norfair Space Boost. That's another area where beginner runners who hold right will accidentally grab something when they're not supposed to. And Nick here is going for the newly discovered clip that gets Powerbomb early.
I'm actually going the safer route instead of the risky route, and it's been so long since I've taken the safer route, I almost forgot the movement I need to get through here, so I'm being a little clumsy, but I should get there. There's a different way to go down here, but it requires like a frame-perfect space jump, and you get soft-locked if you mess it up. I don't want to do that in a marathon.
So Nick waited in front of the door and is moving in such a way to manipulate this pirate to get it in it's a pixel perfect position in order for him to freeze the pirate and clip through the combo block. So he got it first try. That was very good. It's really cool because it's a pixel perfect strat, but it is also normalized because the pirate is so predictable that if you do these steps properly, the pirate will always be in the same spot and will always raise his arms when he's supposed to, and all of that. So it's really nice.
It's definitely another helpful factor that the pirates have pretty much no randomness to them. Yeah, that trick actually saves well over a minute. I think close to a minute and a half off of the old route where you get power bombs the intended way. So that was an exciting find for sure for the community, but a lot of people that were interested in 100% were able to get on and just knock a minute off of their old times for free, basically.
And we have Nick stopping to refill here, mostly for the power bomb. There are no power bomb drops in the spaceship, so the only way to get them is through refilling. Actually, there are no drops at all in the spaceship, other than the atomics.
We're going to set up for the glass tube shine spark, which is a one-shot.
I'll wait. Okay, you probably couldn't see it, but the glass tube was actually shaking when the powerbomb exploded, and Nick, I think, uses a visual cue there to start moving when the glass stops shaking.
Yep. And you have a pretty big window to do it too. You just want to run to the other side before it explodes, but with enough time that it finishes exploding when you store your spark and turn around, and it's not that tight.
Yeah, the idea is that you want to be as close to the ledge as possible when you do store your shine spark, so you don't waste any time recharging.
Now we're heading back to Brinstar for cleanup, and fortunately there's a few items that are just on the way to Brinstar, so we'll get them on the way and be done with that.
Fun fact, the area that Nick was just in is actually classified as wrecked ship.
Oh yeah, I guess that is Fantoon's home. I guess he gets here eventually, and I don't know when he shows up in the lore.
Does he show up dead? Or... I mean...
Well, he is a ghost. I don't know. There's another required Shine Spark chain just to break those speed blocks, because there's no other way in this area to get a Shine Spark over here this far. And you need that to backdoor into Torian. Otherwise, we'd have to go a different way into Brinstar and go through all of Torian to get to the end of it and come out this way. But
Yeah, and we get to see the aftermath of Mother Brain self-destructing.
yeah, I really like how Zero Mission included Ruined Torian as part of the game, because you know you come back to it in Super Metroid anyway, so it does exist. It does look like this. It's cool that they added it into the remake.
And it also has the item underneath her tank.
Except I think it's Super that's a missile.
Yeah, it is.
That would be a good early power bomb place to put though.
Another interesting fact is where you just picked up the missile is the way to New Turian.
Oh yeah.
They just haven't dug out the tunnel yet. So there are only 2 items to pick up in Turian, and Nick got them, so we won't see it anymore. We're going to clean up the rest of Kraid, and then take a shortcut into Norfair.
Yeah, I think the first item we get in Kraid is the one that requires Gravity Suit, because you need to get a Shine Spark inside lava. Which, even if we could survive the lava damage, we just can't get a Shine Spark. But since we're coming here anyways, we're gonna get a few more items that are on the way and backdoor into Norfair again. This is probably a good puzzle room that I also see a lot of new people playing Zero Mission for the first time will spend quite a bit of time solving this puzzle, and having Wave Beam pretty much trivializes the whole puzzle. It's kind of fun to just cheat it.
Yeah.
But they hit a
And
back
now that we
door.
have the Screw Attack and Power Bomb, we can access this shortcut.
Yeah, they hit a back door in Kraid where you can see the Screw Attack blocks. So on your first playthrough, you might think it's a neat little secret, and you come back with Screw Attack later and find the Power Bomb blocks and realize you're still stuck. If you come here before Torian.
And this is the famed early power bombs. It is possible to take this power bomb very early in the game. However, you will die. There's been a lot of speculation and theory regarding this power bomb and how it could save. If you can get it and survive, it could save over 3 minutes of a 100% run.
Well, forget that. It would save like 20 minutes off of an any percent run, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because then you just skip all the bosses and Turian.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the Norfair space boost. I forgot to hype that up. That's actually a pretty tricky space boost to get in that room.
Yep, it requires short jumps. There are some blocks near the top of the ceiling that are speed booster blocks, but there are some that are not. So if your jumps are not tight, you can hit one of those blocks, or you could power grip one of the blocks. This is another example of why you want to make sure you don't hold a direction while space jumping.
Yeah, it's always fun to be speed boosting through a room and then you grab a speed block in the middle of your space jump and just halt all your momentum.
Yeah,
That's always unsettling.
and then there will be one more example of that much later in the run. The one that can actually cost you a lot of time.
Oh my god. I'm looking at my powerbomb count, and
I think you're fine.
well, yeah. At this point in the run, you kind of want to hope for some drops from power bombs. I have enough to finish the game, and I haven't missed any power bombs. But if you get drops from some enemies in Norfair, which is your only real chance without slowing down, it can actually speed up the end game pretty significantly. But getting 0 drops is just unlucky.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I guess I don't get to do the ball spark today.
Yep, it's possible to ball spark. It would have been the only example of doing ball spark. No, there'll be another one later. The game actually shows this to you in the demo that it is possible to do a ball spark. And the requirement is having speed booster and high jump.
Well, I've done a couple ball sparks. I got the power bombs and criteria and the
Oh yeah,
crate,
that's right.
crate
Yep.
pickup. It's not often that you do ball sparks if you can not do them because the animation for a ball spark is actually pretty long.
Yeah, it's recommended that if you can avoid doing ball spark, you just avoid doing it. However, in a very long room like that one, it will save you time, since you don't have to platform.
Yeah, the real benefit there is there's just one tile of speed blocks, so the ball spark will take you all the way to the end of the room. There I actually have to unmorph to fall because there's something weird about the morph ball has a capped horizontal speed when you're falling. You can't move horizontally as fast. But if you unmorph, you can make it to that ledge and get that missile without having to backtrack in here to restore a spark.
Oh, every other zone except for Chozodia has been cleared out.
Oh, here's a room where I would use a power bomb if I had one. Oops. If I wasn't so slow to set it up, it's actually faster to use a regular bomb there, but I kind of blew it. That's why I like having the power bombs. But the goal for the rest of the game is to not have to stop to refill at a save station, because we could refill anytime we want. It's real slow to stand still and wait for the refill. So in any chance we get to use an optional bomb instead of a power bomb so that we don't run out for the mandatory power bombs is a good chance to save on the refill. So this is one of the mandatory power bombs because that big chunk of power bomb blocks and then above me was another chunk of power bomb blocks. I blew them all up with one bomb. Is the only way to get back into this room to get this expansion. So if I had run out before that room, I'd have to backtrack and refill, which is very slow. But now I think I have almost all the items in the game. There's still 2 or 3 more that are on the way to the final boss, but we've picked up enough that we're on the way to the final boss now, so there's no more cleanup left. There's
Yeah,
just
I
a couple.
think you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items left.
Yeah, something like that. I still have the 2 power bombs that would have been my first power bombs that are at the very end of the game, which fortunately now I don't have to backtrack after getting them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which is funny because one of the last few items that you get should have been one of the first items you get during cleanup.
There is a fun extra category that the community came up with for this game called Challenge Percent, which is where you play the game like low percent. You don't pick up any items that you don't need, so you get 9 items to get to the end of the game, and you want to make power bombs your 10th item, so you get them I don't think early is the right word, but you get them at a time where you can use them more, and then you backtrack and get 100% of the items with power bombs, so you can get more use out of them. And it's tough to get there without any items, but if you can get there, it's fun to have a chance to play with them. Here's another room. If I had lots of drops in Norfair, I could lay a power bomb here to blow up both of these with some extra time to spare, but I think 5 is the minimum I want here. That's a mandatory power bomb to blow up that yellow door.
Yep.
And then this room isn't mandatory, but it saves a larger chunk of time if you can keep a power bomb this far. There's like 6 or 8 blocks that you have to bomb individually, and one power bomb can take them all out. So if I was running low, I could skip that one, but it's very nice to save it for that room. And same with this one. This one's also not mandatory, but it opens up a path here that saves a good chunk of just zigzagging throughout this room. And then this power bomb lets me open the door while I pick up what should have been the first power bombs, but come on. That saves some cutscene time there. That's something I like about the Game Boy Metroids that I don't think is in Super Metroid, is when you pick up items and you get the fanfare, the game is still happening. So you can save time by doing stuff during the fanfare instead of just having to sit through the fanfare no matter what you're doing. That should be everything except for one last E-Tank.
Yep.
Which, this is kind of a rotten E-Tank for the end of the run, but I'm going to go for the fast strat first, and depending on if I can get it or not, I'll do the safe strat. There we go.
Very nice. Yeah, this is where you absolutely don't want to hold a direction while doing space jump, because you could accidentally power grip into the tripwire. All right, and just like Metroid Fusion, Zero Mission has a somewhat kind of 100% check here, in that Ridley will now have 3 times as much health as he does in any percent. And if he doesn't die in 6 super missiles, we'll know that we have 100%.
There we go. Looks like 100 to me.
Yep.
And luckily we didn't get to see it. He also does double damage when he has 100%, but he never got a chance to touch me, so that's good for me. It's extra scary in hard mode because he does double damage with 100%, on top of double damage from just being in hard mode, and you have half the health that you would normally have, so 100% hard mode Mecha Ridley can still two-shot you sometimes. Alright, there's one last trick coming up. I gotta get the escape spark so I can ball spark to the end of the game and skip a few rooms. And after that, we'll be coming up close on time when I get in the final ship. There we go.
All right.
So now the real final boss of this game is just 2 extra pirates that are left guarding the ship. On any percent, they're pretty scary because they can take out your health, but and that's time.
GG. Very nice run.
Fortunately, 100% you can just stand there and, just like Ridley, you just stand inside them and kill them before they can even hurt you too much. Alright, so same deal as Fusion. We already know from Mecha Ridley that I have 100%, but I think I'm way underestimate this time. That went off really smoothly. So if you want to stick around for the credits, we'll see the number and move on to the next run after that.
Yep, I'll wait for Tech to make a call on that. Either way, GG on Metroid Zero Mission here.
Thanks for the GG.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very smooth run. No near-death experiences like a certain other runner that we had earlier. Yeah, very smooth. It also showcased the latest discovery that we had in finding the early power bombs, and a bunch of other more finely optimized things that it has done. Overall, very, very nice.
Yeah, if anyone wants to get into a Zero Mission 100%, it's actually a very nice run to get started with. The early power bombs trick is really easy. It might take you 2 or 3 tries just to figure it out, and after that, it's a free trick. And all the hard tricks they go for are more or less optional. They only save a couple seconds over the easy strats, but I like to go for those time saves if I can do them. Anyone who likes to run, it's easy to get into.
Alright, sounds good. So yeah, while the credits are going on, I also want to read out a quick donation that we got from Zafera666 for $5, and that $5 is going towards the alternate color for the Donkey Kong Country 3 bit war that we've got going on. So, and with that, alternate is now sitting at $35, and original is lagging behind at $28.43. I almost said pence. I don't know why. So yeah, if you want to influence that bid war, there is still some time to get donations in, because we still have one run before we get to DKC 3, which is going to be our next run of Celeste coming up. Which is going to be Oninoiwa showing off any percent. And after that will be Donkey Kong Country 3. So time is running out for the incentive, but there is still some. That's also going to be it for me for hosting, as the Metroid blog comes to a close. So I want to give a quick thank you to Strider86 and the rest of the Game Over Cancer crew for letting me be on hosting. And so yeah, enjoy the rest of the marathon, take care, and have a wonderful day.
Oh, and a big thank you to Ross for commentating most of the Metroid block. That was very helpful. Thanks, Ross.
Oh yeah, no problem. I enjoyed it.